everybody, Harold here. Today I want to start a new series on the Tidyr package in R. Tidyr is included in the Tidyverse. What it does is let you get your data into a tidy format. What that means is uh, for every observation is a row and every row is an observation. Every column is a variable and every variable is a column. And that's the format we generally need for exploratory data analysis. The first video is going to be on nesting and unnesting. If you take a look at my screen here, this is the Star Wars people database. You ever get something like this? It's just lists, how long they are. If you view it in the console, you could see it's a list. Um, it's just a list of people. This is person 18, their name, classification, designation, average height. So this, you can't do anything with this. We need to unnest it to do any exploratory data analysis. So let's get started on nesting and unnesting. Uh, got three packages you need to install and load. Tidyverse, Recursive. Recursive is a great package for practicing on this stuff. Nesting, unnesting, pivoting, unpivoting, with examples of recursive lists and nests that are split data frames. Got JSON, XML, all kinds of great stuff to practice on. Let's first talk about nested data, nesting. Nested data is data containing an unlimited number of observations under a single key, which can be stored in a higher structure. Good example of this would be a baseball card. Tops one or Jack Roosevelt Robinson would be the key, and then the observations would be all these things down here: games, at bats, home runs, doubles, triples, etc. So these lists of people are like, so it's like an object with attributes. The key being, say in this case, player ID and name, and all the batting and fielding records would be the attributes. So we need to somehow unpack that into tidy data that we can use in our analysis. So to nest something, I've got just a little, I'm going to create a little data frame here with teams and their scores. So let me run this code. Um, see, we have all these objects now. We're going to convert them into a data frame called scores. And there's our scores data frame down here. Teams A, B, C, D, E, red. So teams and their scores for each round. If I want to nest something, I need to create a key and then put the attributes or observations under that key for each team. So it's simple as you do scores and pipe group by teams into that. And now the group is the key, so the key is teams. We want to nest all the score observations under the teams. So let's run that code. And now I have each team with a 1x5 tibble nested called data in just one column. The advantages of this are it's great for storage and updating observations, but like I said before, it's not great if we want to try to analyze the data. What are we going to do with this? So now we need to talk about unnesting. There's three verbs in unnesting. You can unnest longer. It takes each element of a list column and makes a new row. You can unnest wider, takes each element of a list column and makes a new column, so there'll be a column for each type of observation. Or instead of using unnest wider, if you know what you're looking for, you can use Hoist. It just plucks out the selected columns, and it can even reach down into multiple nested lists. So to show you that, I'm going to first show you how to create a list of lists. So foods is going to be a table. The food types are fruits, veggies, meats, and dairy. Each of those contains a list of foods in that category. So, for instance, fruits contains a list of apples, bananas, oranges, and pears, so on and so forth. Let's create that table. Show you the table. So I've got fruits, food type, and items, 2 columns now. Crunched all that down, right for storage. One for food type and one for items. It has 4 in each, and they're all of character data type. Now, if I wanted to see those items, I'd do a simple unnest, and it breaks it back out into tidy data, pivoted longer in this case. Pivoting and unpivoting will be in the next video. So I have data I can work with. I can sort by fruit, do whatever by fruit or by item. So that's unnesting. That's simple unnesting. Recursive has a lot of cool databases to work on this. Like I said before, you all probably seen a lot of the regular Star Wars database. This has nested lists that go even further into that Star Wars data. So we're going to use Star Wars starships to unnest and hoist. So this is what you get when you look at Star Wars starships. It's a list of 37 is a list of starships keyed under name and all their attributes, observations for each starship. Consumables, hyperdrive, crew, passengers, cost, manufacturer, etc. So we need to unnest this wider. We want to make all of these name, model, manufacturer, cost. We want to make each one of those a column. So we'd say starships, unnest wider. Well, this is a list of lists. So it's a list. And we get an error. It says error in unnest wider. Data must be a data frame, not a list. So we have to do something to convert this into a data frame. If you don't know, a tibble is just a dumber form of a data frame, if you will. Tibble's included in the tidyverse package. Also, you could import Tibble by itself if you wished. So we're going to say a new object starships is equal to a Tibble, and the starship equals SW starships. So let's do that. Now let's look at that Tibble. So now we just have a 37 by 1 Tibble of name list. So that's all the starships, 37 starships. It's a name list of their observation. So now we can say we got that one column, so that's all we need to unnest. So we say starships and pipe that into unnest wider starship. Now let's go ahead and view that. So we'll say pipe view, run that again. So now we have column for every observation. Name, Sentinel class, landing craft, model, Sentinel class. Well, that's not a good one. Millennium Falcon, there we go. YT 1300 Light Raider. manufactured by the Korean Engineering Corporation. Cost 134,999 in credits, length, etc., etc. It's a salt. What's its class? Starship class light freighter. So that's really cool. They've also got, if you're interested, information on the planets, species, the vehicles, people in the films. Go out there and practice unnesting those. The hoist, well, I don't care about all the other variables. I just wanted to know the model name and manufacturer. So I could say Starships, pipe that in, hoist from Starship, the column I want, and then name it. So name equals name, model equals model, manufacturer equals manufacturer. So I can run that. And now you can see TIE Fighter, TIE Advanced X1 twin ion engine Advanced XL made by CNR Fleet. Pretty cool. So that's how you unnest wider. Now, if you have a list of lists separated into rows, there's one under called GH repos. These are GitHub repo uh, stats, forks, open issues, watchers. But their list of lists, see, there's 6 and then 30, and then all the variables after that. So we need to say now, first we have to turn it into a tibble because it's list of lists. So repos equals tibble, repo equals gh repos. Then we unnest the tibble. So repos pipe in is equal to repos, pipe in that in to unnest longer repo. And let's look at that. So now we have a name list, a list of named lists. So we have to go further and unnest it all wider or just hoist some columns. So let's just hoist 4 columns, login, name, homepage, and watchers. So now we have those broken out into tidy form. We still have some other ones we didn't unlist. We could further unlist those. We didn't unnest. We could further unnest those if we wanted to. So that's unnest longer. Uh, Sometimes you'll get a JSON. For instance, Game of Thrones is over here. Several forms, Game of Thrones characters. I'm going to show you how to unnest the JSON. So let me show you. If you just say got chars JSON, Game of Thrones characters JSON, it is a function. You run that and you get basically the path to where it lives in your on your hard drive. So you need to, what are you going to do with that? You really need to unnest that. So you've got to turn that into a tibble. This is where the JSON light package comes in. So I could say, I'll call it got chars J. So I say from JSON, take chars JSON, flatten the data, true, and then turn it into a tibble as tibble. So now it's a tibble. And then can we see that? Let's look at that. Let's say got chars J here. Yes, so it has flattened the data, but it hasn't really unnested. See these lists still here. So let's unnest columns by name. All right, now we've got more information broken down. It's Dion Greyjoy, male, Ironborn, born where. We still have some lists here. Well, once you unnest and you have a list in some of your unnested columns, you just keep going. So got chars J, unnest wider titles. We're going to unnest this column now, see what Theon and everybody's titles were. Well, because, for instance, Daenerys Targaryen has multiple titles, what this is doing is trying to make a column for each title. So we're going to get an error. We can't unnest elements with missing names. So it's saying that we've got title, if she's got 7 titles, and we've got 1 title column and 6 title columns with no name. So we have to put in the name sep argument to generate automatic names. So you can do whatever you want. I did an underscore, so dot chars J, pipe in unnest wider titles, name sep equals underscore, to make each one of those columns a distinct name. Select the person's name. Any of the columns that start with title, we don't care about all this other stuff. We just want to unpack their titles. Pipe that in to view so we can see it. So let's run with that. And now we have, for instance, Daenerys Targaryen, name, titles 1, titles 2. How many are they? Well, there's only 5. I said 7, but she's got 5 of them. And they are Daenerys Targaryen, Queen of the Andals and the Rhoynar and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, Breaker of Shackles and Chains, the Queen of Marine, and the Princess of Dragonstone. I like that stuff. So that's cool. If we wanted to, and this is the next lesson, we could unpivot these and get them in tidy format, but I'm going to stop for now. We'll take that up in the next lesson. Uh, Much of this I got from Hadley. I spelled his name wrong. Wickham's and others' excellent vignette on rectangling. You can get that here. You can go to buy GitHub repo to get all the code. I'll put that in the description. Also in recursive, if you want to practice Charlotte Gelfin's music collection data, Discog is very nested. It's in JSON in regular form. You can unnest down multiple levels, pivot wider, pivot longer. It's great to practice on. So that's my video on nest and unnest. I hope you liked it. Please join me next time for pivot and unpivot. Thanks, everybody.